Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited for all the cool stuff that we get to be part of. It's gonna be a lot of fun. A little bit about myself. I live in beautiful, sunny, as you can see, Los Angeles, California. Love it here. I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm really bad at doing bios for myself. Whenever I feel like changing my Instagram or my Twitter bio, I just sit there awkwardly for 20 minutes, kind of like I'm doing right now, trying to think of something clever to say. So instead of me trying to come up with stuff to talk about, I went to my Instagram friends and had them ask me some questions, which I'm gonna answer here. So we're gonna dive into those right now before I dive right into you. All right, first question. If you could bring back any style, trend or era, what would it be? I would say fashion from like the 1920s and the 40s. I love the fashion from then. I just think it's so like classy and cute, and it's just, I love it. There's a lot of decades, but a lot of them are kind of already sort of back in style. Everything from like the 70s to the 90s, even like the 60s is kind of integrated in today's modern fashion sense, which I love, which I think it's great, except for the 90s. The 90s were kind of a scary time in fashion. We'll see how it pans out with this new wave. But yeah, if I could bring back the trends and style of an era, it would be either like the 20s or the 40s. I can't really decide. What is your spirit animal? A dolphin. And dolphins are just kind of like, woo! Life! You know, it seems like if they had human personalities, they would be those people that are like, woohoo, yeah, fun, let's go, ooh, look at this thing, let's go do that. And that's basically me in a nutshell. But I'm not a good swimmer, so maybe more like a puppy. I think puppies are kind of like that too. If you had to get a tattoo above one of your eyebrows, what would it say? If you can read this, back up. What is the craziest thing you have ever done? So one time, a group of friends and I decided that we wanted to go on a road trip, and we were gonna go to the Grand Canyon. It's funny because the person who sent in this question was actually one of those friends. So yeah, we had this plan to go to the Grand Canyon. So we went to the Grand Canyon. We got there like super early in the morning. We explored for a bit. It was fun, but once we were kind of over it, it was still like really early in the day. So a couple of the friends were like, do you want to drive to Utah? We're like right there. So we drove to Utah from the Grand Canyon, and we drove into this national park. It was like the middle of the night, and it was kind of really freaky because there were all these like mountains and canyons, and since it was so dark, there were just like these ominous giant shadows towering above you, and it was kind of really scary, but it was kind of cool too. But then after we left that, some of my friends were like, hey, we're like next to Yosemite. Do you guys want to go to Yosemite? So we drove from Utah to Yosemite and spent a good amount of time there. And then we drove down back to LA where we all lived at the time. So it was definitely probably one of the most spontaneous thing I've ever done, which I love. It was super fun. And we didn't stop like the whole time. We drove for like 4 days straight. And so before we got to the Grand Canyon, we drove through Vegas at like midnight, and it was popping, like it was crazy. And we didn't stay anywhere to sleep. We didn't check in anywhere. We literally just drove straight for 4 days, alternating drivers. Well, there was only 2 people that alternated because they were the only ones who knew how to drive a stick shift. Yeah, we drove a stick shift from Los Angeles up to the northern part of the country, whatever, you know what I mean. It was definitely crazy, but it was so much fun, and my friends and I, we still talk about it to this day, and that was like, I don't know, almost 4 years ago, over 3 years ago. It was a lot of fun. What's the most important thing you learned from your mom? Everything. When I was super little, I would just always play pretend. I would walk around my house just playing these characters in my own little made-up stories, just all the time. I was always in my imagination. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, am I too old to play pretend? And then she said, so casually, I still play pretend. Sometimes I pretend I'm a millionaire. And that's just kind of stuck with me for all these years. And now as, you know, someone who is into acting and creating content and writing stories and I'm still creating my own worlds and playing pretend. And it's just cool to have that dream encouraged and even pushed by people like my mom. So, thanks, Mom! What do you value most out of life? My relationships with people, friendships, even acquaintances. I just love people. I think people are the most valuable things that we have on this earth. I think when you have a friendship or any type of good relationship with a person, it's just something that can't really equal to pretty much anything else. You know, to have somebody in your life that you can do life with, I just think is one of the coolest things that you can have. One of the most valuable things that you can have. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and to see all the cool, fun stuff that I've got planned. Have a wonderful, blessed day, guys. Love you all. Mwah.